What's your name? Say it!
It doesn't matter what your name is!
Say my name.
What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony!
You're listening to Don't Call Us Anthony podcast. All guest views and opinions are their own, but don't worry, the hosts will share theirs so you can call them opinionated. But just don't call them Anthony. And now, the hosts of Don't Call Us Anthony, Cooley and Tony.
Well, Keith, thank you so much for joining us on the Don't Call Us Anthony podcast. I can't tell you how stoked I am to have you on the show, man. I've been a big fan since, I saw Adventures in Babysitting and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead when I was a kid. And I'm sure you've heard this 1,000 times over that you have been an influence in many a person's childhood. so I don't want to, yeah, right. Like, I don't want to keep boring you with those for sure, man. But I definitely wanted to tell you, we do have one rule in this podcast, and that rule is I go by Tony and Cooley goes by Cooley. So just don't call us Anthony and we should be good. Yeah. So, all right. If you call us Anthony, we'll call you out on it, or we might tell you to take a drink of that Coke again. So, all right.
That's so cute. You think I remember names? Anthony Rapp on Adventures in Babysitting. I thought it'd be cute. We're like, hey, Tony. And he goes, I don't. No, I don't like that. It's Anthony. So he is Anthony.
He is Anthony, yeah. I'm only Anthony when I'm in trouble. So, or if it's like, what was it in
How High? Or it was the one with John Lovitz. And he's like, all right, am I reading this right? Anthony. No, Anthony. No, it's Anthony.
Oh, God. I've gotten every single. I've got Anthony. Like, oh, they just go down the list, man. I'm all set with that. So, but oh man, yeah. So excited to have you on. So I was looking up some stuff a couple of weeks ago. And we had kind of chatted via email. And I found out some things I didn't know, that you're actually, if we go back, your grandfather was in the original Oliver Twist, which I did not know that. That's like the 1922 film. Like that, I did not know that. That is insane. Yeah. So
huge with Lon Chaney.
Yeah. Yeah. Congrats.
That was a really cool picture. That's right. Thank you. Not a lot of people bring up Oliver Twist.
Yeah. Oliver Twist is a classic. And then he was in a Charlie Chaplin film and The Kid too. Like that's amazing. So, yeah. So just congrats to your grandfather. I think that's amazing that, now, is that the reason why you got into film as a kid? Was it because of your grandfather's experience, or was it just from kind of watching TV and being like, man, I want to be in the movies?
Yeah, I was just watching TV because my mom wasn't talking to my grandfather, and I really didn't know that they were involved in the business. So my great-grandfather had left the family and went to Broadway and joined vaudeville and wound up in Hollywood, did some 2 reel shorts with like Fatty Arbuckle and Buster Keaton. And so it was kind of in the community. And my grandfather, Jackie, had done Skinner's Baby in about 1.5 years. Titular character. So he was part of the vaudeville troupe. And, there was a night when he was about 4 years old when Chaplin discovered him and then did The Kid. And in the middle of shooting The Kid, he had a contract due for a 2 reel short. And so he quickly made A Day's Pleasure, which it came out before The Kid, but it was shot in the middle of The Kid.
Yeah.
To fulfill a contract. And then The Kid came out and it was a global, it was an international success.
That's awesome.
And my great grandfather formed Jackie Coogan Productions, and they did a series of circus days, Peck's Bad Boys, Daddy, My Boy, Old Clothes, the same kind of, older a gentleman and a cute little kid orphan, and so basically copies of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was heavily merchandised, and they did a movie when he got his hair cut from the little page boy bangs, and Johnny, get your hair cut, and they did a movie on that. And he said that he got the flu once and it pushed the president off the front page of the New York Times. And he'd say now as I did start acting, and my mom moved back down to LA and reconnected with my grandparents, and she wanted to kind of keep me separate from the Coogan thing, and so I acted under Keith Mitchell for 10 years. Did a bunch of commercials and TV shows and stuff. And it was that's when it was like the family biz, and I learned that I had to pay my dues and start at the ground up, and clean toilets and scrub floors with your toothbrush. You gotta do commercials, and you gotta do silly guest appearances, and thankfully the trash TV in the 70s and 80s was exactly the TV I like to watch. Fantasy Island, Love Boat, Eight Is Enough, Mork and Mindy, Laverne and Shirley, Chips.
Oh, Mork and Mindy
Knight
too.
Rider,
Mork and Mindy was
Little
like classic.
House, Walton.
It's like everything I used to watch. Yeah, dude.
I did the last episode of Mork and Mindy.
Oh, no way. I did not know that. That's awesome. Oh, man. To have that on your resume is so cool, man. That's awesome.
Dude, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, man, that's all the stuff I used to watch. But then, like, now that I'm thinking about it, that's like all the stuff that was on TV. Really, like, TV wasn't like it is now, like where you could watch like a million different things. It's like too much to watch, to actually watch. Like back then you had like very slim pickings, but I mean, those shows were like, man, those were like key to my childhood.
They're great. Sure. You needed a car, and you needed some sort of occupation like process server, PI, stuntman. I don't know. They were all fun. I remember shows like 10 Speed and Brown Shoe, and Saturday Morning even did live action Adventure or Danger Island, I think it was called. Kids running around an island. They were like 6-minute episodes. So anyway, I was about 5 when I wanted to be on TV, and jumped right in. I was just posting Dig 'em Smacks commercial I'd done probably, I don't know, 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah.
I got to work with Dig 'em. I got to work with Snap, Crackle, and Pop. And,
that's cool. Oh man,
the Kool-Aid guy, Mr. Whipple.
Oh, man.
Please don't squeeze the Charmin.
Oh, you're taking me back, man. I love it. This is the best. So how did you get into I mean, obviously like the first thing that I ever saw you in as a kid was Adventures in Babysitting. How did that film come about? Like, what was that whole process?
It was, after having auditioned for films since 1977 or 78. So I'd gone up for Goonies and Gremlins and Stand By Me and The Toy and Christmas Story, and I didn't get them. And Lucas, Dream Little Dream.
Wow.
License to Drive. And I finally got Adventure in Babysitting, and that was a long couple of callbacks, screen tests, rehearsals, and you don't have the job until your second paycheck clears. Remember, on Waltons, they fired John Boy.
Yeah,
that's his freaking show, and replaced him with an actor that had the mole and everything.
Yeah.
They will, So I learned quickly. I started working for producers a couple of times, and I noticed. I look back on my resume, and I'm like, oh, I work for so and such. A couple of times, and basically a kid who could remember his lines and not waste time on a set. That's a big deal. And I had a nickname, One Take Mitchell. My screen name was my birth name, Keith Mitchell.
Okay.
And so when I did Adventures in Babysitting, it was around time I did Silver Spoons and Growing Pains, and I changed my name to Coogan at that time. So I was able to, and I had casting directors. They were saying the reason I didn't get these other features is I was too TV. And I get it. You're playing on a box that's this big rather than a huge screen that's 10 times harder to live life. So you're, I learned from my grandfather a bunch of vaudeville shtick.
Yeah.
And maybe it's definitely more comical. And I kind of sunk my teeth into being a character actor. I'm a nerd.
But you know what? I think that has obviously worked for you so well. I mean, the characters that you've created are super memorable. Like they're unbelievably quotable. Like they're
that's not me, but that's the writers, obviously.
but it's all about the way that you perform it.
Yeah, the delivery is everything.
The delivery is it, man. I mean,
I got a lot of best friend, boyfriend, cousin, brother, second lead parts where I had a lot of exposition
Yeah.
A lot of just support, you know,
Yeah.
for the main character's journey. And I was happy with that. And so the key was you make a story point a character point.
Yeah.
Is that what, you know, it always came back to character. It always came back to being character, and the story takes care of itself. They're pounding the audience over the head with, you know, all the setups and plot points and stuff. So,
you know, it's funny too, because you mentioned like the characters and things. Like it's like my daughter is going to be 4 soon, right? And the other day we put on Adventures in Babysitting, and I was kind of watching it, and she, you know, and she loves the beginning, you know, where Elizabeth Shue was dancing, and she copies it, and then but then there are lines that like I never expected her to remember, and there was something really odd happened. This is kind of a funny story. So there's the scene where you know Anthony Rapp, he's trying to get a glimpse of Chris, and you know you
got this humongous
yeah, and like you're shutting the curtains, and she brings up something about college, and you go, "You're going to college?" And the other day, my daughter, like somebody said something about college. She goes, "You're going to college?" And I go, I was like, out of all the lines you could have remembered, it was that one. And I was like dying laughing. I'm like, you know, so you think about being quotable, it's all about the delivery, you know? So it really is. I mean, the fact that she picked up on that and said it with the same inflection was hilarious to me. So
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, we've had problems with people, you know, remembering the movie, and I'll be doing a screening, you know, these days, and they'll bring their kids. They'll get their, you know, their 8-year-old, their 4-year-old, whatever. And they're watching the movie, and then, you know, the subway scene comes on, and don't with the babysitter, and some of them remember, and they're like, just before that scene, they go, "We're gonna go in the lobby real quick, maybe go to the bathroom," just so they miss it. And then, of course, after the screening, you'll see kids running around. It's just great. There's a lot of bad language, and Chris Columbus said that was the only that was the danger. There's no nobody gets shot. There's a gun. I get stabbed, but it's not really a stabbing.
Right.
There's nobody gets killed. Oh, they're trying to get killed. What are you gonna do? Run them over? Get the car. I love that. I love the bad guy is so great. So it's all at night. It's a noir, you know. I think it was modeled after Hours a bit. It's Ferris Bueller's After Hours, kind of all smushed together.
Yeah, for sure.
The language was the one part that was slightly dangerous. And if the parents dropped their kids off and didn't really check the movie, and they went and saw Inner Space in the theater next door, then the kids could have little secrets like, "Oh, I think we heard words we're not supposed to hear." So I'm disappointed they scrub it on Disney Plus. I understand, but I would like you know, Disney to have another option for people to watch the original.
Yeah, I noticed that when I watched the Disney Plus version, and then I was like, "Nah, I'm going to watch the original." So, because that's the one I prefer. It has some lines in there that just are, you know, they're still funny because they're funny. But yeah, no. So I mean, that was a big film for me. A little secret, so the scene where you guys go to that blues bar and you sing, you know, the Babysitting blues song. I didn't know that the movie was actually called Adventures in Babysitting, because when my dad actually like had the VHS, he labeled it Babysitting Blues. So for the longest time, I thought that was the name of the film, and then I grew up, I was like, "Oh, it's Adventures in Babysitting."
That's great.
You know, so
you're like, they're just title checking the hell out of this. Wow.
I know. So, exactly.
Well, it was in other countries. It was called A Night in the Town.
Yeah. I heard about that.
What are your thoughts on the what is it? Is it a series they're making, or a remake of the movie on Disney Plus?
They made it. It was the 100th Disney Channel original movie.
Oh, it actually
came out.
Yeah, all right. So they actually did it.
It's done.
That shows
done.
you
Sabrina Carpenter, and it's 2 babysitters, and they both are babysitting, and they accidentally swap phones, and a night of hilarity ensues.
And they had to make it current, obviously include the cell phones, you know, which would have solved all the problems that you guys ran into.
No, it wouldn't.
No, you don't think so?
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. No, we get a flat tire, and we get out to fix the flat, and it's okay. I'll call my mom. I'll just get my I forgot my purse. She left her purse at home when she hopped in the car, so she left her phone at home. Thank you very much. I'm done with that one.
Dude, I love it.
Toy soldiers next.
I was going to say he's already been answered these questions before.
Brad doesn't get a phone plan. He's got an iPod that like only gets Wi-Fi, so he's screwed. They're trying to find Wi-Fi at like Starbucks as they're going through town.
That's so true. That's so true. All right, that's a fair point.
Fantastic.
So what was it like shooting? Now you said it was like a noir. Like you guys shot this mostly at night. So what was it like shooting in Chicago at night, though? I mean, that's a whole different scenario, right?
It was a little more of a challenge, believe it or not, than shooting in Toronto. Toronto, we shot January and February, and then we moved down to Chicago in March for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And it was that wind, man. Ooh, kicks your ass.
Yeah.
So we were totally there for like St. Patrick's Day. We saw the river go green and all that good stuff. And then we came back to LA for a week for special effects.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Chicago was great. We had to get the expressway. We had to get the riverfront walk and the skyline, and there's a couple of landmarks that had to be grabbed there.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you guys run into any like obstacles when you were like filming the movie? Anything that stuck out that was like a really like big roadblock or anything?
Wow. No, it went very smooth for so many days scheduled, so many shots you need, and rolling thunder. So lots of trucks and a healthy budget provided by Disney. Thank you, Disney, and Touchstone Pictures. So there were. There's always little hitches as you go. We get to the subway station and there's rappers hanging out watching, and they go and ask them, "Hey, you guys want to be in the movie?" And they're all like, "Well, call our agent." And they're like, "You can stand at the bottom of the thing. You sign this release, you'll be in the movie or not, whatever you want to do." So they're the rappers, and like when we're running from them, we run up the L train stairs. That's the real train. Which, there's nights where, and we're running 2 cameras on the train sequences, 3 cameras for Babysitting Blues. They had 3 Panavision. For the train, it was 2, like a wide shot and a closer shot. And a couple of nights, we had a night of soft focus. So we had to go back a night after filming other stuff. And we got there about 3 o'clock in the morning and the platform was closed. So the stunt coordinator had a lockpick kit and picked the platform, and we went out and played with the train. So we had the train operator with us. That wasn't the problem. He just nabbed the key to get some of the gear in through it. It was a light crew, 6 of us. So what? Big deal. So what?
Yeah.
Who cares? But it was cool shooting it on a real train. Everything was pretty real except that end building. We never set foot in the I call it the running scared building. At the end of the Billy Crystal Running Scared is they come and rappel down the inside of that.
Yeah.
But those are all shot on location, second unit, and background plates.
Gotcha. Now, I think my memory serves me correct. That was the second film for Elizabeth Shue, because I think before that she did Karate Kid, or I'm not sure
and she'd done Link. She'd also done Link with Terrence Stamp.
That's right.
It's a monkey experiment movie where, of course, we immediately rented it. It was rated R. And me and Anthony watched it, and the monkeys touches her boobs, like she's having an intimate moment with the monkey, and and the monkey touches her boobs. And so, of course, when we're like rehearsing, me and Anthony are standing there, and we're like, "Hey, we did see Link or whatever." And Elizabeth goes, "That's a double. That's a body double." It's like, okay, gotcha. Just checking. But of course, she's Allie. She's so, Karate Kid is a great film.
Yeah,
because it's directed by John G. Avildsen, who directed Rocky. He knows sports movie structure.
Mm-hmm.
And it made karate become a thing in the 80s, like almost as much as Pac-Man and headbands and neon and hairspray. Amazing influence I think it had.
Hey, that's why I started taking karate. It was Karate Kid, man. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
You know what I've learned in like 22 minutes is that you're not just a actor. You're not just somebody who like memorizes lines and regurgitates stuff. Like you're a student of the game. Like, you know your shit.
Yeah.
Which is
Well, I
really,
was raised by
really cool.
carnies.
Like, I like, you don't really hear that much when you talk to somebody in the biz, or like when you talk to people. Like I haven't talked to a lot of people per se. Like, we've had plenty of like discussions and stuff like that, but you're definitely coming across as somebody who knows more than the average. um yeah.
I agree.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I don't,
Like,
I'm not sure
history
what
wise.
avenue that is, but the so if people come up and look at my autograph table at like a convention, and they'll go, that show, oh, you were my childhood, or this was my childhood. And I go, it was mine too. So I remember every, day of work, and people ask me, well, tell a funny story from something, and it's tough too. It'll be stories, mostly embarrassing ones my mom will remember, so those will kind of stick to a project. But a job's a job. My grandfather said, always say yes. You can always back out at the last minute, but do it. If it's bad, you'll learn something, you'll meet some people. If it's good, then great, goes to the top of the resume. That the funnest thing is making the movie. I mean, releasing it is all nail biting, and the money part is necessary because it's so expensive to make a movie. So you could have a great idea for a movie. You're going to need, some money to make it look pretty good. And you might want, SAG actors. Not that every SAG actor is going to bring it, but the ones that have the talent had to go union a long time ago. There's plenty of people I've worked with. I can't act. There's tons of time I have no idea what I'm doing out there. That casting, that's the thing, is casting. And so if you find a bit of yourself in the character and something of the character you understand, bring yourself to it, and then also try to learn something about the character that's not you. Learn it, play the guitar, cook, whatever it is. Play practical jokes on your I did Starman with C.B. Barnes and Robert Hayes, and I was the antagonist. And he came into a new town with the Starman, and he goes to a new high school, and Amy Dolan's is the cute girl, and I'm the mean boyfriend on the long distance running team. Long distance running, really, the television was so bad in the 80s that you had to, there was like only so many formulas for episodic television. And the sports ones, basketball, track, were easy to do. Structured, scripted reality television. It just burns time. It's easy. Walton's, we did a goddamn soapbox derby race. That burned, at least from one commercial break to a whole nother commercial break. That burned all that time. It was great. No dialogue. Hey. So I don't even know what I was talking about now. I go off like a squirrel, ADHD. Yeah.
No, I think we were just saying that,
early on,
we were just saying that you're a cinephile, man. That's basically.
Oh, totally. Because it started with earliest exposure to TV, Sesame Street, Electric Company, Zoom, Via Alegre, Saturday morning cartoons, and then of course Saturday Night Live. And early as in TV in '76, so as early as 6 or 7. And my parents were hippies. They were ex-carnies. They were heads. They were totally. I was raised both like free range and a helicopter parent at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, like, keep me on the leash, but it would be like swung like this, and then launch me off into, bye, have fun, we're gonna go over here, okay. And then then extreme monitoring when my parents were around. So I loved working because I could get like 50 feet from my mom. That was great. Hi, Mom, I'm over here and you're over there.
That's awesome.
But it was expected that you had to pay your dues. And so how fun to weave through Chips, and Knight Rider and stuff like that, to do it, to get there. And so and watching movies, it was Clockwork Orange, The Sting, Jaws, The Exorcist, early, young, seen in theaters. My mom was an usher, so she would plop me down very young and watch R-rated movies.
That's awesome.
And sneak me into the trunk for drive-ins and stuff like that. And so 9 and 10, when Sean S. Cunningham releases Friday the 13th, and you get, Carpenter releases Halloween, and then a little later you get Freddy, and that was just a perfect time. Later I found the Evil Dead and stuff. Looking back, I love comedy horror. I got to do more horror because a lot of horror conventions.
Yeah,
very good. Horror people are great. Very fetishistic. They buy everything, all the DVDs, the box set, the steel thing, the posters, the doll with the chainsaw, the thing. They buy it all. We love them.
Well, that's like my buddy. He wanted to buy, I think it was like Jason's machete. And I was like, what are you going to do, man? Are you just going to stand in your backyard with that machete? And he was like, no, I'm going to stand in other people's backyards. It's like, all right, man. At least you have a game plan.
What are you doing with that hockey mask in your hand? Don't mind, man. It's cool. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
Don't mind me.
This is just my thing.
Yeah, right. This is my thing.
Just watch the Ring camera.
Yeah.
Just watch it. Yeah.
Exactly. Do somebody post up in real time.
I grew up with cheesy horror like Trilogy of Terror and When a Stranger Calls and Telephone, Black Sunday. They were like drama thrillers stuff. Capricorn 1.
All right.
All the President's Men. There's a lot of movies I grew up with said the government was nuts. Like 3 Days of the Condor and all these movies. They're like, government don't got your back. Yo. A lot of movies.
Yeah.
A lot of movies. And then the 80s was just fun. No, I didn't really never know. Frankenhooker, definitely.
Okay. Toxic.
80s it turned into the E.T. Which one? Who?
Toxic Avenger.
Toxic. Yeah, I love Toxic. I love Kaufman and Troma, and I always look for Lloyd in other people's movies in crowd scenes. So pop up and stuff. Right. I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm like, "There's Lloyd Kaufman in the prison." And I did a Corman picture, Under the Boardwalk, a surf movie, and I did a Bob Shea picture, the New Line Cinema, the house that Freddie built. I did Book of Love for Bob Shea, and I did a Joel Schumacher picture, Chris Columbus. Bob Giraldi directed Hiding Out. He's the one that set Michael Jackson's hair on fire. I know he didn't do it. He didn't pull the effect, but he was directing the Pepsi commercial when this shit happened. So, can I swear on your show, by the way?
Dude, go for let it fly, man. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, fucking thank God.
I'm saying the same thing. Fuck yeah.
My grandmother was a showgirl, was a dancer. My grandfather married 4 dancers: Betty Grable, Flowers Perry, Ann McCormack, and my grandmother, Dorothea. And so, between dance for her and, the acting for my grandfather, and he got to move up into talkies, and Tom Sawyer was his first talkie when he was 13. And then he did television, came along, and he started doing TV, bad Westerns, bad sci-fi movies. There's one, what is it called? Spider Women from Mars or something. There's a genius performance by him in just a bad B movie. He did Mamie Van Doren picture, High School Confidential. And then the TV gig with the Addams Family was, he rebirthed again into that kind of like A-list fame that he had when he was 5.
Right.
And no, it came out in 21, so he was born in 14. So he was 7 when the kid was released, but he was 5 when he started working on it. It took a year and a day to film the kid with no script.
Wow.
And he said that they'd go down a week, no ideas. And set builders were playing baseball, and Grips were smoking cigars, and Chaplin would get an idea. And he'd start getting into makeup, and he'd put his adhesive for his mustache on. And he'd come over to Jackie, and Jackie would smell it. He'd smell the glue for Chaplin's mustache. And my grandfather said, I knew it was time to get back to work. That is one of those stories. And I'm like, okay, that's incredibly personal and like brings it right here.
No, that's like, thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. That's a really
Then there's
cool,
other stories, like he'd be fighting in the war, World War II, Burma. Army Air Corps, total suicide mission, glider pilots flying over Burma, and he's already divorced from Betty Grable. And like 2/3 of every pilot has her as a pinup in their cockpit. So he'd be at the latrine and taking a piss, and like someone would go, "Hey, aren't you Jackie Coogan?" Hey, and he'd turn to them while he's pissing, and he go, "Would you like to shake the hand that holds the dick that fucked Betty Grable?"
That's classic. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Wow.
Oh, that's the best.
So yeah, they were raunchy, they were pirates, they cursed, they swore, they were, borderline racist. I mean, my grandfather did have, there's a shot of him and Betty Grable online at a costume party, and he's in blackface, I'm not gonna lie.
No.
He also was in I Dream of Jeannie. He did a 2-part episode where the wedding episode and he played Uncle Suleiman, Jeannie's uncle, who is Middle Eastern, and they put him in brown face for that. Mm-hmm. Not proud of that, but Short Circuit 2 was made a lot more recently. They did Fisher Stevens bad on that.
Oh God!
No, I mean, look at it's okay. Are you sure? No, it's okay.
Hey, look at what is it? Breakfast at Tiffany's, Mickey Rooney. Like, oh my God, that's brutal. Like,
Soul Man.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's grating, and it's still, there's parts you laugh and you go, I shouldn't be laughing. And the whole movie is about a hooker, actually 2 hookers.
Yeah.
A hooker, a kept boy who's probably gay, and a dirty slob of a no-name cat. It's a beautiful movie. I love that. That's one of my favorite movies. Breakfast at Tiffany's, you got me there.
It's so good.
But
I do have one question.
Let's agree that if we redid that movie, that we would rethink that part.
Oh, completely, wholeheartedly on that.
Yeah. It would just be the gay flamboyant neighbor, because that's okay, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
The worst offender was single white female. I'm watching scene, and I go, that's the worst gay best friend neighbor. Of course, he gets cacked. Sorry, spoiler alert, everybody.
Hey, if you haven't seen it by now, come on. I do want to jump back quick just to Adventures, and then we'll move on. I have to ask you this because it's become an inside joke between me and one of my friends. So Don Davis Chandler, who played Bleak in the villain in the film, who was kind of after the Playboy that you guys stole. There's one scene where I just want to know what the guy was like, because there's this one scene where like you guys are in the you're in the building of the party where your parents are having that party there, and you're kind of wrapping the cord around his legs, and they're like, oh, do you happen to know the name of the caterer? And he's just like so dramatic. He's like, caterer? Yeah, what? The caterer? And like me and my friends always yeah, so I mean, he just seems like such an intense guy, and all of his lines are also very quotable. Like, it's got all my notes for the Philadelphia order. Like, what was he like to work with, this guy? Because he was mostly like a Western actor, wasn't he? I mean,
he's perfect. He's perfect. He's very easygoing on set.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Yeah.
He might curse a little bit on like the props. Not they could go, well, that's not goddamn right. Let's move that over there. He'd just be, he kind of maintain in that kind of low growling Eastwood-esque grizzly thingy. He just had such great face and crags.
Oh, he did, man. Yeah.
And you had to believe that you just saw, we were scared of the car thief. Then you see Ron Canada sock the car thief out. So you're scared of Ron Canada.
Oh.
Then you see Grayson, and Grayson is the boss over Ron Canada.
Okay.
And you go, okay, we should be scared of him.
Yeah.
We're willing to poke our eyes out and crawl out of the thing because we're probably going to get murdered. We realize the chop shop and the Philadelphia order, and we don't want to end up like Cleveland.
Right.
Cleveland is dead. And he has to say it's this great setup with the Brady Bunch, take the Brady Bunch upstairs.
Yeah.
We'll deal with them after the meeting. Such a great setup to cut to Brenda and have the Brady Bunch theme going on the quarter operated TV. So many little great details.
Yeah. And what was it like to get back?
Station
sorry.
As Midnight Run. Same bus station as Midnight Run.
Oh, no way.
One of them. I think they do a couple bus stations Midnight Run, but the front of it at least is in Midnight Run. And what was it like to what?
No, I was going to say, so, the last Rhode Island Comic-Con we went to, and obviously it was Elizabeth Shue and
Yes.
everybody had like a reunion. So what was it like to see everybody all in the same location? I mean, have you guys kept in touch at all, or?
It was 35 years since all five of us. I'd seen Vincent, I'd seen Anthony, me and Maya Bruton have been doing shows. I hadn't seen Elizabeth Shue in 35 years.
Wow.
She lives in New York. She's married to Guggenheim, who directs like Waiting for Superman and the new Still, the Michael J. Fox documentary. And he's a Guggenheim.
Yeah.
Still no chance at Chris. Oh well. Anyway, so we snuck up, the three kids snuck up behind Vincent and Lisa's table. By the way, first rehearsal, you notice it's Elizabeth Shue with an S.
Yeah.
So she goes, by the way, you can just call me Lisa. We're like, we're so cool now. We could call her Lisa. Oh my God. So close. So close. So it was amazing. My wife, Pinky, go to her Instagram, and she's got it well documented. Some great photos and video of Lisa seeing us for the first time in years. And it's great moment.
Oh my God, I got to check that out. Yeah, it was crazy because I had been wanting to meet Elizabeth Shue since I was a kid, because of Karate Kid, and obviously I think this is more the thing, Adventures in Babysitting, but I got to remember her in, and that was like cool to get to meet her at Comic-Con. So that was cool. And I met you a couple of years back. Actually, if you look, you can't really see it, but right there on the wall, it's the picture I took with you at Comic-Con. So I was like, yeah,
nice.
man. So definitely another movie that is a favorite of mine is, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, which I heard was not the original title of the film.
No, the original title was The Real World.
Yeah, which was probably a conflict with MTV. So
after the fact. So we'd started making the movie, and the script was a yellow script cover with red lettering and the clown dog logo on it. And it said The Real World. And it was focused on the secret of my success, working girl part of the story. Probably like 70-30, office versus family. And we start making it, and Warner Brothers gives notes, and they're like, let's make it like 50-50 family office. Cool. That's good for me. All right. Nothing cut out. There's lies on the Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead IMDb trivia. Lies, damn lies, statistics regarding delayed in shooting, or like having to cut scenes or something because an actor wasn't present or something, and that's just not true. I don't remember a single delay or anything like that. There were it was smooth, nobody got hurt. But midway through, after we finish all the location stuff, you get all your day exteriors done first, or else you don't have a cover set if it rains on you. So you have a set ready in an interior soundstage waiting, but that's just dark. And you go and you take the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks of your movie and get all your day exteriors, your night, the grunion scene, peeing off the roof, the clown dog stuff, all that stuff was shot. Driving around in the car and all that was shot the first couple of weeks of the movie. Then you move into the house. So we're in the house, we're settled in, and they've broken it down from looking okay to looking, oh God, awful. Like, we have just wrecked this place, and the kitchen stunk. We had real food and leftovers in there, and real flies buzzing around this kitchen. And I'm sitting there by the craft service table, and it's about a month and a half into shooting, and they said, hey, MTV called, and they're doing a reality show called The Real World. And we said, what's a reality show? And they said, just trust me, they don't want to confuse the brand. And for some reason, if you look at the movie, I think it's produced by Outlaw Pictures, which is the two gravediggers at the end.
Okay.
They are Brian Riley, Bobby Newmare. They did Sex, Lies, and Videotape. They're the ones that found the script, went through Ed O'Neill, got Christina Applegate. They offered Gus to Ed O'Neill. And thankfully, because I love John Getz, I got to work with, somebody from The Fly. That was awesome.
Right.
And they said, at the same time they told us the conflict and MTV and everything, and remember that, I mean, my jacket, my wig and everything, and I'm hot. It's up in Valencia, up by Magic Mountain, just desert. And they say, we polled 13-year-old boys, and the new name of your movie is Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. And I about hit the floor. I was like, really? Really, and the second babysitting movie, thanks a lot. And the writers hated it, everyone hated it. We all were like, whatever. And when they actually put really good money into the release, and it did well, and all of a sudden it shows up as a joke on the Tonight Show. Carson does a joke, and or Leno, whoever the hell the host was, and don't tell mom the draft bill's dead, or whatever the hell the joke was. And the writers went, oh, I guess if the Tonight Show is they picked it up, then it's pop culture, and that's the only thing the title could have been. And
Right.
It's part of the brick joke that the writers, when they handed the script to Warner Brothers, they said you can change anything you want, just don't change the brick joke, where we kind of forget about the babysitter. And the very last line, hey, swell, where's the babysitter? And we remember, oh God, right, that whole plot. As long as you don't change that, you can do whatever you want. And the script was pretty close to the first script you get, the shooting draft or whatever. Usually some of those features go through. Like Adventures of Babysitting, we started working on it, and the end was on a bridge, and Sarah had a toy box full of plutonium that looked like the box of plutonium. She had a toy box, and then it got confused with, so they changed it to the backpack and the Playboy and all that stuff. It was awful. They even did a mistake. It was the backpack was supposed to be left in the Jeep with the frat boy. Right. And we shot a scene in the frats, we shot a scene afterwards in Dawson Garage, and the script supervisor, we finished, and the script supervisor turns to Chris and goes, we got a problem. And we get Linda Opes, Deborah Hill, they all come over. She goes, we were supposed to have left the backpack in the car. And they're like, fuck, what do we do? Her skate. We could say she left the skate. So they made up on the fly to cover a continuity mistake, and it wound up being a slide. That's why the skate has Sarah spelled differently than Sarah is in the credits of Adventures of Babysitting.
Oh,
anyway, back to Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. No changes. All the kids rose to their roles. Daniel Harris was the best angry tomboy you can imagine. Little, girly outfits with the, Doc Marten steel-toed boots. Right. Walter was the Slavic, TV file. Zach was the, you're my moonbeam. He's the lady killer.
So, yeah, that's right.
And Kenny was just living the life, getting high with his buddies, doing jack shit. And Christina was growing up, and then so she turns around and she smacks us all. We spent all our petty cash, and we go, all right, let's grow up. And we all grow up. And that was the writers that said when they made a movie, they go, all the other movies that come out, the parents leave town and everything falls to shit. Because what if we made a movie where the parents leave town and the kids get their shit together? And it's better than when the mom comes back. So and apparently it's also a hit in Australia. I asked an Australian why, and they said because a lot of American movies don't talk about Australia. They don't mention them. There's war movies that will leave Australian divisions out of. They were like, usually we're just not mentioned or brought up in American entertainment. And they go, when you get the name drop and don't tell mom if she's going to go fuck a sheep herder in Australia. Oh my God, they went nuts. So, I was working front gate, Universal Studios. I've always done straight jobs. I've worked 18. I got a job at a video store, Point Two Video. I had 2 movies on the shelf behind me. I've never shied away from it. I've worked shipping and receiving at Disney, currently a tour guide over at Sony Studios, still acting. And so I'm doing Universal, and I go on a break. And I'm front gate. Hi, welcome to Universal Studios. And I go on a break. I go to the bathroom. And I get a text from Scott Grimes. And he goes, dude, I was just coming through the gate with Russell Crowe. And was looking for you, and we missed you. And I was like, oh my God, I'm about to go back, after break, or I'll go back. And I wanted to imagine, he said that Russell Crowe was a big fan of Don't Tell Mom. And I wanted to imagine them both running back to the gate with Russell Crowe going like, dishes are done, man. And just, that was an image in my mind that I loved.
That's awesome. Oh my God, that's class. I love the insider stuff, man. This is amazing. This is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'll start first naming Scott or Corey or Chris Young. I'll be like, oh, and Chris or Scott or Danny Nucci, or so many friends, partners in crime, scene partners, co-stars, competitors. Remember, because not only are we working together, but then oftentimes you miss out on parts. Like Toy Soldiers. Finish Toy Soldiers, come back, and I do the Encino Man director's test for Les Mayfield. And it wasn't a screen test, it wasn't an audition, but I don't know if you've seen that. Pauly Shore posted it on his YouTube. Ben Stiller is the caveman. And I'm in the Sean Astin role, and my buddy Jeff Maynard from he's also an actor, he's Neil Simon touring star. He is Harold. It was later changed to Stoney. So I get a call. Will you do $500? Will you go out and work one day and do this test? Because the studio's thinking of using this director. They want to see if he's got the chops. It's not an offer. You're not up for it. I went, sure, I'll go for it. Do it. They say it's never going to be shown. And then I hear the movie comes out, you know, and they give Sean ridiculous amount of money. Fine. I'm, you know, definitely jealous. Yeah. But I had my chance. I had my shot. Also, Lord of the Rings, get the call. I'd worked for Bob Shea and New Line already in Book of Love. And they go, hey, they're doing 3 movies, all in New Zealand. Yeah, it's going to take months. And I go, whoa, that's, yeah, really? What, dragons and shit? No. No. Horses and battle and armors and dwarves. And yeah, that sounds like Robert Holmes Sr. can have fun with that. It just sounded like it was going to be really bad.
Yeah.
So I auditioned for Samwise Gamgee. Somewhere is a tape of me kneeled over a laid out Frodo and like taking the ring from him and crying somewhere in Middle English accent. And I get the audition that goes, you know, please use Middle English accent. I'm like, what the fuck is Middle English accent? So back to casting and acting, and there's no acting, you don't act. Michael Caine said never get caught acting. You what is it? You act realistically under pretend circumstances, and you just buy it for a second. You just believe it for a second, and so I'm just really grateful to have a variety of characters that I played. My family didn't through TV and stuff, and my grandfather, his experience because of something really famous like The Kid or Uncle Fester. They likened it to Richie Cunningham or the Fonz. And that's an active thing happening while I'm growing up and working. You see actors like Bo and Luke Duke, who are they going to have a career after that show's over? And you go, no, in most cases, you know, they don't. They're too known as that one character.
Right.
But then there's David Hasselhoff, who can go from a soap to Michael Knight to Baywatch, and nobody cares.
Yeah.
People just like to watch him on TV.
Now, did you what was, as far as like the character of Kenny, what was your inspiration for Kenny? Like, where did that come from?
So it's two direct inspirations, and then one after the fact. I realized I'd done something really close to somebody else, but I didn't see that movie until after I'd done Don't Tell Mom.
Okay.
And it was Bill and Ted, because I was working with the director of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Stephen Herrick. So why would I not? That was a great shortcut in dialogue. The only difference is Bill and Ted don't overtly smoke weed.
Right.
They're dumb.
Right.
They're stoner-esque, but you know, you see Kenny smoke weed.
Yeah.
And have like bad grades and like a wrecked room, and like there's repercussions. And that's why I liked about the character is he redeems, he has an arc, and he cleans up and becomes a gourmet chef. What a perfect character. So my family said never get typecast. You always want to jump and do different roles. So that's why I was really pissed when they called The Real World Don't Tell Mom. And now I'm like, oh great, now I'm the babysitter guy.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was originally called Adult Education.
Okay.
Under the Boardwalk was originally called Wipeout. Book of Love was originally called Jack in the Box. What else? Toy Soldiers, Don't Tell Love, Book of Love, Cousins, Cheetah. Cheetah might have been Cheetah and Friends, but that's fine. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave Cheeto out of this.
All right. Now, am I fair to say that Kenny's room is what killed Mrs. Sturak?
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. I'm sure She turns around and she sees Samantha. Well, just what's her name? British. What is her name?
I don't.
Debbie Gibson.
No, Samantha Fox.
Oh, Samantha Fox. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think there's a shot of her with like skeleton.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
And
Right.
the crusty thing and the Iron Maiden. But Kenny has good taste in music, by the way.
Yeah.
Like real heavy metal, not BS. And yeah, she absolutely, you see her, she goes, and she staggers back. And next time you see her, she's dead. So absolutely, Kenny never met her, but his room killed her.
Yeah. Love that. And how can you give us any insight? Because I gotta ask, man, like how the dishes are done, like scene was filmed, like that, because it's such a short, epic scene.
We had to shoot mowing the lawn, a little like sequence of me trying to start it and then like successfully mowing the lawn. And then they go, all right, get up on the roof. And we had a mock-up roof for Walter's scenes. It was about 100 feet from the house. It was under a similar tree, but they built a low one 5 feet off the ground so that, you know, Walter didn't have to be in danger. But with us, the stoner kids, they're like, get up on the roof. So we go up and crawl out a bedroom window and get out onto the roof. And they go, you know, in the script, it says Kenny is on the roof shooting the dishes with his friends.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the line came up. It could have been yelled at by the director, one of the writers. It could be a pink page or a rewrite. It could have been given to me by a friend or I wrote it. I don't know. I'm sure the Kenny is Neil Landau's brother. Neil Landau and Tara Eisen wrote every line of the script together in the room together, role playing. And he said that Kenny was his brother. So the other inspiration of Bill and Ted, other than Bill and Ted, was Spicoli. But I use the same reference that Sean Penn used. So my neighbor was Fro Gardenier, and he was the guy that Sean Penn based Spicoli off of. So I had him next door, dude. Oh my God. He's a surfer. He's like, that's why Kenny's got this kind of like surfer lilt a lot of the times. I didn't know shit from, you know, being a stoner. I was a straight laced kid doing a Warner Brothers movie. I was just working. So that was, you know, fun. I'm definitely pulling. And then later after the movie came out, I was in Vegas and I caught River's Edge on Spectrovision or whatever. And I went, oh, dude, I'm real close to Keanu and River's Edge. Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude.
That character is just one of my favorites, man. It's so many lines that I still make me laugh. What is the I should have been taking care of him, reading him Green Eggs and Ham or some shit like that. It's so good. Oh man.
No problem, Twisted Sister. Hated that line so much. I hated that line. I told the director, I hate that line. I don't want to say the line. He goes, just say the line.
Just say the line.
You don't even take me anywhere anymore. He'd be like, be more troglodyte. I go, I don't know what troglodyte means. And Stephen Herrick would go, caveman. And I go, got it. I go, walk all arch. I had a little touch where he's bringing a weed plant home and his jeans, his ass is hanging out of his jeans and everything. That's all in the script. But as he goes up the stairs, I said, what if he runs out of breath halfway up the stairs?
That was
so I just
so
did
good.
it. I just like, and they went with it. I'm like, okay. I love that they let you do that. Some movies and directors do not let you add stuff at all. There's no room, there's no time. And this was nothing but find all these little moments that, and they were very generous with letting me do all that stuff.
I love that. I've worked with a couple of directors in my experience, and like when they let you be creative, I feel like this is when some of the best stuff comes out. So yeah, for sure. Definitely. Now we've obviously been talking for a while and you're a cinephile. So I got to ask, like, what are some of your top favorite movies, man? Like, you gotta
Jaws,
have like
Raiders,
dude.
Star Wars, actually Empire,
Star Wars.
Screw it, I don't know, Inception and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and movies.
Yeah,
fucking movies. Lawrence of Arabia, Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Kingpin. I'll lowball it, man. I'll go down there.
I love that the first one you said was Jaws, man. That's like my number one. Like
Jaws, my favorite movie. Jaws is my favorite movie. Jaws is great.
Oh my God.
They asked Ridley Scott, what is the definitive version of a movie? Is it, E.T. after you scrub out the guns and put the radio in? Is it the 8th cut of Blade Runner? Is it the director's cut? And Ridley Scott said, I think the definitive cut of a director's work is the film he delivered with a certain budget at a certain deadline to put that in the theaters. That's the work. Because anybody could sit there and play with it forever.
Mm-hmm.
So when you could pull off something without a lot of reshoots and stuff and rewrites, and it carries from that first reading of the script and it plays. Movies have the longest time from that first reading of the script and writing it to rehearsing and doing casting and sets and shooting it, editing, doing the dialogue replacement, all that stuff, music. Then you finally see it with an audience and then it's released. It's so long, a year.
Mm.
It's a miracle that any bit of timing is retained. You got to have somebody go, that's funny. And if I mess with the timing on that, it'll blow the joke. And they've got to, so you got to give them that. You got to give them that timing where they go, all right, I can hold on this. That'll get a laugh. All right. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I never did acting classes. I tried, sampled a bunch. And tell me about your mother. I hated acting classes. I just like to work. And I that's where I feel most comfortable, most creative is right after they say rolling. Yeah. And they say action. Because then I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And when they say action, I know what to do.
Yeah.
I got a question for you about your Star Wars fandom. How do you what is your feeling on the course that Star Wars has been on? So we had 4, 5, and 6, right? Then we had 1, 2, and 3. Then we had 7, 8, and 9. And I'm not talking about any of the TV series or anything like that, but where do you rank all of them? And there's only one right answer.
We have Rogue One.
Yes.
What more do you fucking want than the pinnacle of the best Star Wars ever? So anything in and around that, we have that episode of Andor.
Mm.
Which one?
The one with the fucking meteors are coming and they're
yes.
People are praying and they're trying to, basically go take the money, rob the fucking paychecks, payroll.
That episode was killer.
That episode I went, I wish I had seen this in a theater. This is some of the greatest science fiction I've ever seen. So
but yes, Rogue
you'll
One.
you'll get standout stuff. I'm watching Mandalorian now and I'm going back and catching up, and I really liked Boba Fett. Oh, and fucking Kenobi.
Awesome.
What is
so
Third Daughter? It was one of the best new characters.
Oh, Third Sister.
Yeah, Third Sister. Best new characters introduced to Star Wars universe since fucking Lando Calrissian.
Yes.
And I didn't just say that because they're black.
No.
It was a compelling character that had nothing to do with that. And she got shit on it for being a black woman. They're like, no. And I'm like, she really kicks ass. And then they developed her backstory. And so, yeah, I'm all for
it was cool.
Third Daughter.
What was
Third
cool
Sister.
They did her, though, is they didn't fuck around and make her try to speak in a British accent or any of that shit. She was just
that's how you know she's not really Empire, because Lucas and subsequent directors have always cast Empire with British actors.
Yes.
And so since she was orphaned, she's not truly under there, which is interesting because Rey, even though adopted by Palpatine. Oh, wait, no, was she force-born with midichlorians like Luke was? No, like Anakin was. Was Rey force-born with Palpatine's will?
I think that was the implication, is that she was another attempt by Palpatine.
Oftentimes the Force has the opposite reaction from the thing that you're trying to do.
Yes.
You think it's good and it's really bad. You think it's bad, it's really good, or whatever. Balance. We just need some fucking balance. Star Wars started falling apart halfway through Return of the Jedi. So fuck 1, 2, 3. I liked the comeback. I liked Force Awakens. That was great.
Force Awakens
and Diminishing Returns on 7, 8, 9, and then Rogue One nailed it. Still, there's parts that I skipped. Oh, the beginning of Kenobi had the best building of the world and furthering on the Sand People and the shit jobs that Kenobi had to do, and what the hell was he doing while he's waiting, and watching the kid. That was all really, really great. Anything that fleshes around that, watching Boba Fett crawl out of the Sarlacc pit, all that shit, gold fan service. Awesome. Yes, that's what we want. We sat down and we ordered. I'd like 2 fan service, please. Hot and ready.
So for the first 3, like for the prequels, have you ever seen the Phantom edit?
No, I haven't seen. Doesn't that scrap 1 basically and do a zhuzh of 2 and 3?
Yeah, it basically starts with the fight with Maul.
Well,
which is
we have the John Williams music video for Duel of the Fates. What more do we need out of that movie? Period. That's it. That fucking music video kicked ass. Are you
a gamer?
I am a gamer. I've got Cyberpunk on right now, probably 400 hours on that. Got all the PlayStation exclusives. I just finished Days Gone and did a New Game Plus, which is cool because I hadn't done that yet. And finished Callisto Protocol, did that New Game Plus. I trundle through. I get bored, pop in, Ghost of Tsushima or Spider-Man.
Is my favorite, like 100%. I told Tony about that.
Yeah.
I was going, how is my PlayStation doing this when I was playing Ghost of Tsushima? How is it doing this?
Have you played?
Why is Ghost of Tsushima so fun?
Have you played Outcast?
Did they remove every bad element of a video game and just give us Ghost of Tsushima? Yes, that's what they did. Every negative interface or thing gone. It's just this effortless game. I love it. All right. Anyway, go on. Yes, I'm a gamer. Have you
played Jedi Outcast?
No.
Do it. Okay. Do it. If you're a Star Wars fan, this is why I brought it up.
Okay.
Do it.
I got burned by Battlegrounds 2 Star Wars. Oh my God, I got so burned by that I never wanted to play a Star Wars IP game again.
Yeah, with all the stupid loot boxes and all that crap. Nothing like that. This is a single player game built from the ground up to be a single player game. No game as a service, no stupid money grabs or anything like that. Just straight up 1 player game. Great.
Good, because I don't even have PlayStation Plus or anything like that.
And then
if
the
the
next
game
one
doesn't let
me,
Death Stranding allows you to free the way it does asynchronous online play. You don't need to pay for the network or anything like that. That is a money grab. Death Stranding is genius. It made me a better person.
I'm gonna have to play it.
It made me think of people more ahead of time and things that they might need or things that I could do for them, and that how going out of your way for someone could really mean a lot to somebody. That's how fucking deep that game is.
So that is such a all right. So I'm gonna need to play that game because I played 10 minutes of it and I was just like, what the fuck?
Play it on story. Don't play it on any of the hard or anything. Just play it on the easiest. You'll go, what the hell? Skip. As soon as you learn how to skip dialogue and cutscenes, do it. Just play and enjoy the playing of it. Because you can watch all the cutscenes on YouTube. They'll play it all and you'll get the story. But it's part of playing. Okay, so if you're in a shooter, first-person shooter, you know everything about load and sighting and every button that can kind of do different things with your weapon. What if the menu interface was also a play routine? That's all I'm going to say about Death Stranding. Okay. At one point, you start it. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's created by, of course,
Hideo Kojima.
Yeah. Who, I can't wait. The trailer for Death Stranding 2, and I'm like, I'm in. God damn it, I'm in. Yeah, Death Stranding, I played all the way through, and then I just popped that in recently and played about halfway through it.
So you're 400 hours into Cyberpunk. You've obviously
Yeah.
seen Hideo Kojima in the game, right?
Yep. Seen. I mean, I've 100% of the damn thing. I played every ending, every character, done as every outcome you can and stuff, and still go through it and love it. I think Cyberpunk. There's more text. You'll pick up a little chip and you'll read a little text thingy.
Mm-hmm.
There's more text in Cyberpunk 2077 than there is in all of Shakespeare's works combined.
Wow.
Oh, that's insane.
That's a great fact.
They tell a transhumanist story that we're here. We got Chat GPT, we got Google Maps, we got our phone listening to us and serving us goddamn chewable dog medicine. And I'm like, that's a real specific fucking ad, dude. So I'm looking at you, puppy. So we're there. We're so there, They just got to figure out how to get that phone under our skin, but they'll do it. It's already in our heads.
Scary times, man. Scary times.
No, as a video file, and we saw it change. My grandfather saw it go from silent to talkie to color, TV. I saw it go from film to digital, first in capture, now in capture and delivery. Because at first they would capture a couple films like Apocalypto or what's the Tom Cruise one with Jamie Foxx?
Oh, Collateral Damage.
Collateral Damage. God, I just love that. You
that
know that
movie's
the FBI
so
and
good.
CIA used Tom Cruise's quick pull in the alley as a training fucking
Oh my God, don't tell me that.
training
Don't
video.
tell me that, dude.
Yeah. You go, he covers so he doesn't get muzzle flash or get a shell in his face. He does it in one motion. I don't know how. It's so fast. Anyway, so they were shooting movies digitally before they were really distributing them at home, because those were theatrical releases like Collateral Damage and Collateral. So then we see it with the streaming wars and everything, and it moved into gaming quite a while ago. Look at This Is Us and what it's done for narrative, and how now people can watch this 10-hour show and go, "Oh, that's in a video game? Really?
Great.
It tells that story in a video game? Well, that's DLC, but yes, it tells that story in a video game."
Yeah.
What a great show, and what a great game. I love all of that content, man. The Last of Us is awesome, and I can't wait for season 2.
Oh, and Cyberpunk Edge Runners is one of the best animes ever done.
Yes. Yep. Agreed.
Yep. It's rough watch, sad, but it's just so visually striking and beautifully done, and it adds to the game. And then they put it back in the game. Now you can go find the chip and play first, and then you can get his goddamn jacket. You can get David Gonzalez's jacket. I love it.
I really love how they like told a story that fit within that universe, but it was like completely different characters, and like it wasn't like I was watching it because I was tied to anything from the game. It was just
by being 100 years before, they have things that if a character puts a matchbook down on a fucking overlook and you go into the game, it's there. Because there's such decay and stuff. There's shit that answers echoes back, and they the animated series, all the locations exist in the game. Dead on. They don't take any artistic license with Night City. Night City is, of course, one of the best characters in the game. Anyway, yeah. That one is still, that's why I'm 400 hours into Cyberpunk, is because of the storytelling. You catch something new every time.
Yeah.
And the voice actor is great. That's the one I want to meet, the voice actors. Usually I love to meet actors, and the cast of Alien or the cast of this. Oh, there's Dan Aykroyd. Of course I love to meet him, get selfies, and ask him a question. But Red Dead Redemption 2 and Cyberpunk are the first video games that I wanted to meet the casts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Johnny Silvermane. And Keanu Reeves.
I met Keanu.
Was he cool?
I went to the premiere for Bill and Ted Part 2.
Yep.
And Alex Winter, when he did Freaked, he named his character Ricky Coogan.
It's awesome.
I asked him, "What is that? Is that Ricky Schroeder?" And Keith Coogan, he goes, "Well, it's Ricky, but it's Jackie Coogan." I was thinking of like the biggest child star, and I went, "Oh, okay, cool, Alex." Cool. I was both heartbroken, but then also confirmed, but then heartbroken at the same time.
Yeah.
And I auditioned for Freaks. I auditioned for the Michael Benasseri role, who's joined at the shoulder to Megan Ward.
Oh,
Damn.
Now, what is it? Do you have like a favorite? Do you have like a favorite moment on set? I mean, I'm sure you've had a ton, but there's one that really sticks out to you that was something like really great that happened.
Dancing with Lloyd Bridges.
Oh yeah,
Getting him ready for his date in Cousins.
Oh my God, yeah.
Or definitely shoot the dishes. I was more scared about my first day of work, which was peeing off the roof with my friends. We're like, go get my mom's MasterCard. We'll master the possibilities. Dude, if we keep this up, we're going to never get out of school. Yeah, fuck yeah. That was my first day as Kenny, and it was like, wow. Don't think I was there yet, and it took a while. Actually, my first day was off camera. They were shooting the GW scenes, and Christina has a couple of phone scenes where I'm like, what? Hey, I'm out of shrimp. Could you get some more petty cash? And so I showed up at the set, and they had a trailer for me, and I read them off camera instead of her having to read with script supervisor. And so I had kind of put my toe in the water for Kenny, I guess, before that. But that was nerve-wracking. I do a swing dancing thing in Book of Love, which was fun. A lot of dancing.
Yeah.
That led to me being on the Oscars, though. When I did Cousins, Kenny Ortega was watching, or his assistant was watching AMLA when I was promoting Cousins, and I did the splits on the thing, and they showed the clip. And he goes, "Hey, grab this kid for the Young Hollywood number." So me and Ricky Lake and Christian Slater and Corey Feldman and Jolie and Tricia Lee Fisher, Melora Hardin, Blair Underwood, Patrick Dempsey, we all did a musical number at the Oscars.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Nobody remembers it because it was the same year as Rob Lowe and Snow White, and thank God he had that awful number, or else we would have never lived it down.
I'm actually going to look that up. I don't think I've seen the number, but that's
Oscars posted it. They have a nice high def version. There's another crunchy version, but Oscars posted Young Hollywood. It was, I think, 1989, 60th or 61st. I don't know. It was the clips.
Awesome.
It's introduced by Bob Hope and Lucy, and then right before we go on stage, they go, "By the way, this is the first year we've opened up the broadcast to the Soviet bloc." What does that mean? That means 1 billion people are watching live. And go.
Oh my God.
And I get out, I do this like
no pressure
split, and I get down front, proscenium, and I'm front stage, and I look, and there's Jack Nicholson and Meryl Streep and Spielberg and Michael Douglas, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying.
Now, is there like a specific director that, or like a dream role that you have that you would love to do?
Oh, wow. I just love any director. Like, I mean, he's dead, but Mike Nichols, someone who loves dialogue, someone who loves, there's plenty of directors. Nora Ephron. Oh, she's dead too. Wait. Nancy Myers. Hey, Nancy, what's up? How you doing? Shonda Rhimes. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
I like, I don't know. I like directors that get into the scene and know about acting or whatever, and know a lot of different methods, so they can kind of work with everybody a little bit. And because sometimes I'll be totally method and just not come out of character, and other times it's not really practical. But just a supportive director, really.
Oh man. Well, Keith, I is there anything that you can tell us about that you're working on that's coming out that you're excited about? Anything that you want to promote while we got you?
So excited about Team of Two by Josh Gomez, starring Josh Gomez, directed by Josh Gomez, written by Josh Gomez. And it is a cop that is stuck in the 80s in his mind. And he doesn't really get along with his partner. So he goes through 19 different partners. I'm one of the partners funny scene. I think it's the funniest. It got the best reaction at the cast and crew screening. Let me pat myself on the back there.
There you go.
Movie or
I
TV
shot
series?
my part in under 4 hours. So the fact that anything on screen is, you can laugh at it is great.
All right.
And Wrong Reasons, directed by Josh Roush, starring and produced by Liv Roush. And it is a punk rock abduction movie where they abduct like a Britney Spears starlet type of Lindsay Lohan and try to clean her up. And I am a douchey Anderson Cooper photojournalist kind of guy.
Oh, nice.
And that's produced by Kevin Smith, and Kevin's in it. Harley Quinn's in it. Ralph Garman's in it. Great. The movie is fucking fantastic. We're
Harley
not
Quinn.
talking what the budget was, but it looks like a couple $1 million. It's great.
Harley Quinn Smith.
Yep, Harley Quinn Smith.
All right.
Now,
I
are
didn't know if you-
those coming out this year or next year? What are we looking
It's
at?
this year. They already did it. They did a couple of screenings and festivals, and they sold it. And they had said June, July for physical and VSOD and all that other good stuff. I can't wait because it's really great music, punk rock soundtrack. The director went and got one good name to do it for real cheap,
Wow.
like a favor deal.
Yeah.
And then with that one name, went and hit up all these other artists and goes, dude, if they're doing it for this, you got to do it for this.
Yeah.
And then got because soundtracks can really, soundtracks are expensive. I mean, soundtracks added $100,000 to Clerks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I believe it. Yep, for sure.
Speaking of, what was it like filming that scene in Jay and Silent Bob reboot? Like that,
Awesome.
That was
That
fucking
was awesome,
hilarious,
man.
man. When I saw that,
It was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
He's he's an outsider filmmaker, and so he's a Linklater. He's someone who learned it himself, but he told my wife, he goes, before I started making movies, I watched a lot of movies. So he's got that film language, and we'll be like, oh, is this more bustin' loose or stir crazy? Or it was like you could do a shortcut. It'd be like it's a little more Hooper, a little less, I don't know. There's a way to talk to Kevin that he'll go deep cut on the references. And I'm sure, and Tarantino, I did hang out with Tarantino briefly, but
Oh, nice.
Kevin Smith is because he's a fan of movies, he'll be like, well, it has to be like that, because if you did it this way, everyone would bitch. You got to do it this way because then that'll be different, or this is they're not expecting that, and you got it. This is why I started it, so it's got to end that way. And I like his conviction, and that he would rather, this is terrible, Kevin, if you're listening, I love you. He'd rather be prolific than do a second draft. He would rather first draft, got it, let's go shoot. Because he's going to hire Molly Shannon. He's going to hire Fred Armisen. He's going to hire, Ralph Garman and Harley Quinn and of course Jay, who great. Everybody in that movie was great. Everybody was fantastic. And he gets so many great cameos. So I was pleased to be a part of the Skewniverse, and
That's awesome.
had an amazing time shooting it. Yeah.
that was fantastic, man. Everything that he's done, I've been a huge fan of. Kevin Smith is like my hero, man. So last question I got for you, man. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Yes.
Now,
The sigh of relief that you just had.
Marvel is Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is the greatest comic book hero. DC has Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. That's great. Aquaman. I love Super Friends growing up. Don't get me wrong. Super Friends is great. Wonder Twins and
I don't hate DC.
Shit. No. DC's like archetypal comic. Like if you think of comic books, I think that's what parents would have thought a comic book was, is DC.
Right.
My first comics were Iron Man and Spider-Man. So that is a different type of subtext and storytelling. I fell in love with Hulk. I fell in love with Fantastic Four. So yeah, it really, For me, it was it's got to be Stan Lee in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got to be him. I got to go to his roast at Marvelous New Year's Eve and see Brian Halloran roast Stan, and oh my god,
Right
amazing.
behind
What a
Cooley,
sweet man.
he's got his finger right behind him. He's got the Excel.
He's got a great cameo in
Yeah.
the new Spider-Verse movie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's animated, so they can pop Stan in there. Here's your comic. How you doing? How we doing? Yeah, that's a good one. It's a good.
And he had that Mallrats appearance, which was great.
Oh yeah.
And then they have him in one of the Marvel movies. Oh, in Captain Marvel, he's reading Mallrats on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I'm reading this script. It might be in this movie. We'll see. So amazing. So I guess I'm in the Marvel universe, but I always was, because at the end of Adventures of Babysitting, you see the Marvel Slug. Thor, of course, it's a Marvel licensed character.
Yeah.
The Babysitter is a Marvel superhero. She's normal, regular, everyday teenager with boy problems. Great.
Yep.
But once she comes under, till children come under her charge, she rolls a 20 for luck, dexterity, charm.
And Thor from Adventures of Babysitting is the Kingpin.
Yeah.
Yes, and in Jay Silent Bob Reboot, Hemsworth is at the end, and they make jokes about, like, fuck you till you're Thor. And then he goes, dishes are done, man. Wait a second. You just had Hemsworth say dishes are done, man, wrapping Thor back all the way to Adventures of Baby through Don't Tell Mom. So Kevin's a genius. Absolutely.
Oh, dude, that's an amazing through line right there. I didn't even think about
Right?
that. That's crazy.
Dude,
That's genius.
That's deep.
Great.
That's awesome. Well, listen, Keith, dude, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I can't thank you enough. This has been a blast. Just getting to talk with you about film too has been awesome.
Watch Beef.
Beef
is. Do you have Netflix?
Oh my god!
Oh yeah.
I'm 2 episodes in. It's
Okay,
fucking incredible.
What the fuck are you doing? We fucking sat down and we got an episode or two in, and we're ride or die all the way to the end. Oh yeah, absolutely. We sat down, ordered a pizza, whatever. We fucking watched that shit to the end.
I'm a
Beef.
West fan.
It's
I had
all
to get
about
up and go
beef.
to
It
work
just
the
gets
next day.
better and better. Beef is great.
I'm gonna
Great,
watch
and great.
Start watching that tonight,
Beef
man.
is like one of the best things ever made.
Yes.
And it doesn't
Holy
really
shit.
feel like the right content or the format for it, because they're shorter. They're like 35-minute episodes, but it feels like it should be an hour, like drama. There's intensity
It feels like an
to
hour's
it, but
worth of
then,
content.
but in a comedy, there's, Isaac is probably one of the best characters. His presence on screen is amazing. That is. Beef was like really thrilled me. I haven't been that thrilled in like a new tone since Freeway with Reese Witherspoon and
Dude,
Kiefer.
I was just telling somebody this today, and I feel so validated to have Keith Coogan on the show right now saying the exact words that I've said.
Who kicks off Freeway? Lily Taylor in a fucking tour de force 5-minute scene where they're trying to take the kid away from her Child Protective Services. And you go, well, first of all, Lily Taylor's great in everything she does. But you go, there's no way all these other actors, Reese and Kiefer, there's no way everyone's going to be able to keep that tone throughout the movie. And Freeway manages to surprise you. And I love Freeway too, Tales of a Trick Baby.
I'm gonna have to watch this now, man. So
Yeah, that's got a
definitely.
great Vincent Gallo bit in it, and it's a much less enjoyable movie to watch. But if you go through Freeway, you gotta go through Freeway too.
And Beef, A24
Beef.
is the
Again,
company.
it's funny. We had watched an episode or two, and we were like really into it, and then we let the credits came on. Whatever, it did the logo again, and my wife goes, "Of course, fucking A24."
Yeah.
Of course.
Like those
Of
people are
course.
insanely good.
I go, is it really, really well directed and shot and written and acted? Yeah, it's A24.
Yeah, makes sense.
Awesome.
Then
man. Awesome.
and I realized Ali Wong opened for me stand up. I did a Virgin Sacrifice where my first time doing stand up, I had Brian Callum, Ali Wong, did a set before me. Crazy.
Oh
Crazy.
shit!
She's so fucking good in Beef. Oh,
she's great, man. She's
Oh,
great.
dude, I gotta watch this now. You guys
made
are
that
talking
other
about
shit.
talking
There
it
was a
up now.
There was a show on Prime. I forget the name of it. And I should know the name of it because it was a comic book that I read and I loved by Brian K. Vaughan. I just forget the name of it. But anyway, about 4 girls that travel through time.
oh yeah. I love time travel shit.
And it was a great show. And she made that show and they canceled it. And I was like, fuck. But like, that was the first time that I was like, wow, Ali Wong, like, she's fucking got it. she's great. And then I saw she had this thing coming out and I was like, oh, I got to watch it. And when I did, fucking forget it. It's a wrap. I'm a fucking fan. I am a fan.
Beef is the shit. What else did we watch? I don't know. I can't think of anything outside of Beef.
Nope.
Because it just wiped. I was like, oh yeah, everything else is crap. All about Beef.
That's awesome. Well, Keith, once again, man, thanks for coming on. I'd regret if I didn't ask you to do it once. Can you do the dishes are done, man? For me, I'd appreciate it.
I'm at a funeral in Utah. It's fine because I was at a funeral, and friends of friends or whatever, and we're there, and in the Mormon churches they have underneath the church is like a rec room, and they do like the whatever food down there. In a little like family, gathering. So we're downstairs, and one like cousin of a cousin comes over, and I'm married into this family, so I don't know who this is. He comes over close, and he's probably about 24. And he kind of just leans over close to me, and it's real. Everyone's bereaved, and he goes, "Could you just say it once?" He leans back at a funeral. So thanks for the interview. Tony and wait, oh shit. See, I told you I forget names. Yeah. And
Cooley.
Huh?
It's just Tony and Cooley, but yeah.
And Cooley. Tony and Cooley.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks for having me on your show. And I really appreciate it. I guess there's really only one thing left to say. Dishes are done, man. Yes. Roll. My voice is shot.
That's perfect. This is perfect, man. Thank you so much, Keith. You're the man. Appreciate it. And we'll definitely talk to you soon, man.
Yeah, KeithCooganOnline.com. KeithCooganOnline.com.
KeithCooganOnline.com. People check it out.
Sir.
All right, Keith. Take it easy.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Brother.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out this episode, and we truly appreciate your support. If you are listening to this episode, please be sure to subscribe to our podcast and rate it to help us share these conversations with others who may enjoy it. If you're watching the show on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so you can be notified as soon as we drop new and exciting content. Thank you so much again for joining, and be sure to tell your friends. Just make sure you don't call us Anthony.